This is Deanna with a Sweet Spot, and I'm here with Diamond Forbes, and we met via attending the Exodus Summit. And I like to say that we were introduced to each other by Exodus Summit. And this is Exodus Summit's fourth year. Yeah, fourth year. They started in 2020, and I Exodus Summit. I guess I should give you a little background on what Exodus Summit is. It is a oh God, it's so many things, but I guess in a nutshell, it is a platform or group started by Roshida and Stephanie Perry to help Black women um, live with more ease and travel, to go on sabbaticals or go on a sabbatical or sabbaticals. You can go on more than one, or just leave the U.S. And we both had slightly different reasonings for tuning in or joining the Exodus Summit. Like I said, I started with the first one in 2020, and I met Diamond at the second one, Homecoming, in 2021. And Diamond, why don't you tell us a little bit more about like why you chose to attend the Exodus Summit in 2021?
Okay, why not? I'm Diamond Forbes. I have it. I'm so sorry. Thanks, Deanda, for inviting me. Let's start there. So yes, I stumbled upon Stephanie Perry's page on YouTube. I don't know exactly what I was looking for at the time, but I knew I was trying to find something, and it popped up about house sitting and traveling, and I'm an animal lover, so and I love traveling, so I was like, oh, let me see what she's about. So that's how I found her, which led me to about the Exodus Summit that was coming up. And I heard her talking about the one that was done previously, so I started kind of snooping around, and I was like, "Hey, this sounds like the type of group. I need to see what's going on
Yeah.
with us." So it just made it so easy for me to just join in. I didn't know a whole bunch about what was going to be entailed with it, but it was very intriguing just listening to her, following her page, and then I saw Rashida's page, and then I was like, "Oh yeah, hands down, let's go." This is like a sisterhood already, and I didn't know them.
Yeah.
So
Right.
that's what led me to
Yeah.
attending the Exodus Summit in 2021, which was
Okay.
called the Homecoming.
Right.
And it was amazing, life changing.
Like you, it was something like that's almost similar to what happened to me in 2020. Of course, we were all kind of in a shutdown kind of mode or whatever, and I think streaming YouTube was the thing to do. And I came across Stephanie and lucked up on joining then the Exodus Summit. And from there, I guess, uh, just kind of thinking about, okay, what do I want to do? I know I want to do something different from what I'm doing now. And just hearing, Black women talk about taking a sabbatical, which I mean, I know what the word means, but you don't think that it's something for you, especially Black girls. We hear about that, and that sounds like something for lack of a better term, white people do. And and so when they started talking about it and talking about it in terms of actually doing it, like Stephanie continuously say, I've done it, I'm doing this, as does Rashida. And when you hear their examples or their journey in doing it, you're like even more pulled in. I think the other part of it is something that you touched on in terms of the sisterhood of it. They make a big point of saying this is for Black women, and a big reason for that is Other groups have this already. Other groups, they have it in their family. They have, the clubs, all the things already set up for it. And this is something, like, as I said before, I hadn't heard that that was a thing that I could do, which is how it evolved into here we are 4 years later, having done this. One of the other things that I wanted to make sure that we, discuss on this call is the fact that we met, and for 2 years, for the most part, our relationship was virtual. We met virtually, and we continued our friendship virtually, and we met for the first time this year in the spring of this year on our way to Marrakech for the Exodus meetup. And we met in JFK Airport, which, I know that there are books and stories and movies even, about meeting in a airport, but it was like just meeting your sister for the
Yeah.
first time. I didn't feel like I was meeting a stranger. I didn't feel like I feel like even our first meeting was like that. It was
Mhm.
just this immediate sisterhood that just kind of leaped out. We were thrust in the roles of being the leads on an accountability group for Ghana. And it was for women who wanted or thinking about taking a sabbatical or moving to Ghana.
Mhm.
And you were in Florida at the time.
I was. Yeah.
I was in Brooklyn, and um, a friend of ours, who's now a friend of ours, Candace, was like, "Hey, Diamond, Deanda, you two look like should be the leads of this. So why don't you lead this?" And we were like, "Okay." I think we in unison was like, "Okay." I
Okay.
mean, it's not a bad idea. I mean, yeah. And so then we kind of over to the side, started talking about, okay, what would this mean? What do we need to do, in terms of meeting or whatever? And
Mhm.
even that was fun,
Yeah.
getting to know each other as well as the other women who were interested
Mhm.
in moving to or taking a sabbatical
Visiting.
in
Yeah.
Ghana or just Africa, period, because it did
Yeah.
evolve into just wanting to
Right.
go to
It
Africa
did.
after a while. But just, talking about what we wanted to do and how we wanted to do it and how we could help one another doing it.
Mhm.
Um, and, one of the things that was born out of that is the fact that it was an accountability group. And what does that mean? What
Mhm.
is, have an accountability partner or a group of people helping you reach a goal? What does that mean and what does that entail? And that was another thing that was born out of Exodus that I had not even thought of a thing, as a
Right.
thing. Um,
Exactly.
so, yeah, because I know when I tell people, oh, my travel accountability partner, I'm talking to my travel accountability partner, Diamond, they're like, what is that?
Yes.
And they want to know more. Like, what
Mhm.
does that
Mhm.
entail? What is that all about?
Right.
And I'm always excited to say that, from the, I always, from that, really did, blossom into a friendship, a sister friendship that
Yeah.
I
Absolutely.
didn't even know I was looking for. You know,
Ditto.
I didn't
Ditto.
even know that was, what I needed and
Mhm.
wanted and all the things. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I
And
would,
now here we are, how many years
and now here
later?
we are. It's one of those things that when you do kind of peel back the layers of, hey, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to travel here, or I want to start a business, I want to leave my job, and how do I do that? What are the steps, or how do I do that without giving up on myself? You know,
Mhm. Or still being able to survive and
and
maintain your livelihood.
exactly.
And I think that's probably a fear. I'm going to call it the fear that most of us have, is that we have to live. And how do we live? We have to work in order to make money. And so to hear sabbaticals or taking career breaks,
Yeah.
and you're like, wait, who's gonna pay the
I
bills?
know.
So it's not a realistic thing
Yeah.
for us to think about it that way.
Mhm.
So, and I think that's another reason why I was intrigued. And she was like, I traveled for a year and I'm here. Rashida said, I live in Mexico City. I'm like,
Yeah.
what?
How are you doing that? Yeah. How are you doing
Yeah,
that? How are you doing
yeah.
that?
So, yeah,
Um,
they definitely gave us a picture, a visual about it can be done.
it can be
Or
done.
like, yes, you can,
Yeah.
that type of thing.
Yeah.
So,
And the Exodus Summit last year, which was titled "Move Abroad Money,"
mhm,
um, it I think took it to the next level. I feel like every year takes it to a whole nother level, but
wow.
it took it to a whole nother level in terms of how do I finance this,
Mhm,
career break or sabbatical or move,
mhm,
and they provided a, an array of different avenues in terms of how I could pay for travel, how
mhm.
I can take a sabbatical, how I can, do the things that has been on my bucket list, and it's
Right.
not a bucket list thing. It's like, this is what I do now, right?
This is life,
Yeah,
right?
I'm
How I
lifing
want to live
now.
my life.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
lifing. I'm not
Yes.
bucket listing. I'm lifing,
Mm-hmm.
and like things like feet pictures and even things that I hadn't thought about.
Never thought
Something,
about that.
yeah, like
But I was all in. I'm like, what?
that's a whole
Listen,
nother
we all
emotion.
have feet.
I know.
You don't need
We
no
all have
talent.
feet,
You don't need to
right?
have a speak.
Yes, and
We
they
have
brought
feet to make
in
money.
women who showed us how to Airbnb in a way
Airbnb.
that was luxury and you're
Mm-hmm.
making money in doing it, how to be a freelancer and do that
Mm-hmm.
sustainably,
Teaching online.
teaching online,
Um, travel social
speaking.
work.
Yes, travel social. I mean,
There were
I
so many
really,
things
yeah, like I really had never thought of that. Like, what? Are you serious? You're doing this? And they had real people who were like,
doing
I'm
it.
doing this. This is what I'm doing.
And
I'm doing
and then they
it.
were like, let me show you how to do it.
And let me show you how to do it, you know, in a sustainable, almost you can reach out and touch them way,
Right.
and kind of, going back to the meetup, which was, like meeting all of these women, 100 Black women. It's actually more of us, but for the meetup this year, it was in Marrakech, Morocco, and
Mhm.
100 Black women, if you can just imagine,
And
sending
one,
on
and one.
and in one place,
I mean, it's been
and
done before, but we
from
were in
all
Morocco.
across the globe, really.
Hmm.
You might as well say all across the globe because
We
people
were.
came from near and far. Mexico, I mean, really, like
Yes.
craziness. Um, and it was a sisterhood that if I had said, "Hey, I want sisterhood to look like this in a
Mhm.
travel, type of way," I don't think I would have colored it that, way. I don't know if
Right.
I would have thought to have it that way. And the fact that both Stephanie and Rashida are so personable, after meeting, like, I wouldn't say thousands of women,
Because they have,
on a
right.
daily, actually, through their
Hmm.
YouTube channels and IG channels and going live here, there, and everywhere. Um, they still make it personable. They still
So,
make it touchable,
hmm.
and they make it so that again you don't feel like this is pie in the sky, and
Right.
this is actually something that's doable. Now we all
Hmm.
have our days, and they will fully admit, we're human. We're human,
Yes.
so don't get it twisted. We have our moments too. But what that does is it gives us a license to be okay with the adulting that we do on a daily day basis,
Hmm.
right? I it'll be, you'll text me, hey, did you look at this, live? Did you see this
Yeah.
video that Stephanie did? Did you see that one that Roshida did? And, or vice versa. And again, it's just one of those things that you're just like, we're doing this.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're doing this.
And we all have different paths
Yeah.
and goals that we're trying to reach, but I think we're looking for the same thing:
Yeah.
a life that we can control, a life of ease,
Yeah.
and a life of how we want to create it. Because,
Yeah.
hey, I may want to live outside of the country forever
Yeah.
and never come back.
Right. Yeah.
Whereas you may just want to go here and there or bob
Yeah.
around. But we all know that we can encourage and support each other regardless of the path, because we know that we want to find something that's going to feed our souls and make us feel good. Because I think at the end of the day, that's the real goal for all of us.
That is
What's going to make our lives better?
Yeah.
And how can I be of service and help you do that?
Right. Right. And how can I help you get there? So,
Yeah.
and that, kind of leads me to the accountability piece. So, one of the things that I want to bring up is the fact that, maybe 2 months ago, because we're in September now,
Yeah.
you and I decided, hey, we need to, kind of really get back on track of, where we, what we want to do in terms of our goals
Right.
of travel and, or, kind of leaving the States. And we decided, hey, let's, get together once a week and have a chat on how we can help each other do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we called it, our accountability weekly check-in for the
Yeah.
most part. And that it's a game changer for me. It was a game changer. A
Yeah.
game changer.
It is.
One of the things that we did on that first call was I said, let's come up with right now 3 goals. We can definitely have more than that.
Mm-hmm.
But let's come up with 3 goals that we can start to hammer out and go forth with, knowing
Mm-hmm.
that, and I want to say the first meeting wasn't the first meeting, and then right after that they announced the summit for this year.
No, I think they announced the meetup location.
They had
Wait,
announced the meetup location, but they had not announced the
the
summit,
date for the
which was
summit.
coming. Yeah. So, and those of you, to kind of give you some context, the summit for 2023 is actually in a week. In a week
It
and a
starts
day.
next Friday, October.
Yeah, next Friday. Yeah, in a week and a day.
Mhm.
And it is location freedom, financial freedom, and time freedom.
Yeah.
And we're both there. I mean, yes, 4 years, there's no reason for us not to be there this year.
There you go.
Because we need all those things: location freedom, financial freedom, and time freedom.
All
Which
that.
again falls into our accountability check-ins.
Yeah.
We set our goals almost kind of, I won't say catty corner, but more in line with some of the things that were born out of the Exodus Summit from last year. In that, from a financial standpoint, what do we want to do in terms of how we can travel more?
Yeah.
And we both had, some, maybe 1 or 2 that were similar, but, some things that were, very, YouTube channel over here and social worker, speaking engagements over there, that type of thing, kind of, but in line with, I can help you get closer to that goal.
Right.
If for no other reason than on that Wednesday when we call and check in with each other, I'm there to kind of be your cheerleader and vice versa.
Mm-hmm. And you have been.
Yeah.
And let me just say that our accountability weekly meetup, it definitely has been life changing, ongoing. But Misty, she don't like to give herself many kudos, but I am not sure. I'm going to follow with you, but I am not sure. Tracker, documenter, I'm not. This one has been amazing on top of things, and this is what I picked up on you. And this is the other thing we have to talk about: our knowing our strengths and our weaknesses, because when we first did the meetup, the accountability for Ghana, I realized off the back, I'm like, oh, so you know how to document, coordinate, follow back up? That's your job, babe. She will send out an email of a recap, talk about what having, just jot it down, outline what we talked about, what our goals are, when we're meeting next. Like she have may have a PowerPoint, she got a Word doc, got a link here and there. But because she is very good at that, and it's probably something she does in her sleep, that's nothing for her. When she sends it out, it's so detailed. I'm like, teach me. And I'm like, no, I don't want to. You do that.
Right.
And so that continued on with our accountability group. So every week after we meet, I know I'm gonna get an email and I can't wait to see it. I'm like, let me see what she's going to put. So it's so good. The gifts that you have is
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
And so
that's what it is.
we need to make sure we
come together
recognize
and
those.
you lean into the things that you have the strength in, and the stuff that the other person does, and when you marry the two together, it's perfection.
Mhm.
Like I said, I felt like our meeting was destiny. It was supposed to happen. It was
Yeah,
supposed to happen. So
it
yeah.
was. And so we have to give Candace,
I know.
we always say that Candace is because of you.
It's because
And
of
then
her. Yeah.
and when I during the meetup, and I think it was our last day, we were checking out, and Stephanie and we were talking by the table before we were leaving out, and she was just like, "Oh, you found your Roshida."
I
Like
know. Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, "Yeah," it was like our Stephanie. Like I'm the,
Yeah.
I don't know, am I the Roshida or the Stephanie? Whichever
Right.
one. We have
Yeah.
a. It's been founded through this,
Yeah.
and we have been that for each other.
Yeah.
Where that will go?
Yeah. I
Mm,
know. I
you never
know.
come
The
and
sky's
go.
the limit on that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a thing. And I'm glad you brought that up. Is one thing that Rashida and Stephanie constantly says is go find your Rashida. This is
Find
Stephanie.
your tribe.
Go
Yes.
find your Stephanie. Go find your person.
Because they're
And
there.
it's in within this network of women. It's
Mm-hmm.
within this network of women. And even and I'll link some of the videos, YouTube videos that talk to this, speak to
Mm-hmm.
what we're talking about, in the description below. But one of the things that is just priceless, actually, not only just meeting Diamond, but the other women too. They
Yes.
all had play a part, in that journey. I
Yes. Yes.
was with a few other women a few weeks ago, and just brainstorming some things. We're hanging out, of course. We're just hanging out and being girlfriends type of thing. Eating and cooking and that kind of thing. But we're also brainstorming on where we want to be and what we want to do. Going to
Mm-hmm.
the Exodus meetup in Cape Town. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, yeah, in Cape Town next year. Talking about what that might mean, and
Mm-hmm.
how can we support the women who we know are going,
Right.
and help the women who are not going. How can we support them?
Or make them go.
Yeah.
And we will definitely put the information because the Exodus Summit 2023, like we said, is next Friday,
Yep.
the 6th to the 9th,
Yep.
and tickets are still available for that.
Yep.
So I would encourage you if you are interested in trying to figure out what it is, get on there, buy your ticket.
Yep.
The meetup for Cape Town. Now, I don't know if there's any tickets left for the Cape Town,
I
but
don't know. It might be though.
it may be. So
Yeah.
that's another thing that we'll see also. We can drop that link, but that's going to be the next meetup in Cape Town, which is in February 10th to the 16th. Probably
Yeah.
no, 16th to the 20th
Yeah. Yeah.
in Cape Town.
Yeah.
And tickets are available for that as well.
Mhm.
And that way you can kind of get the same thing that we got. Like we gotta pass it on. Like
Yeah.
we need you to get this because it's
Yeah.
oozing.
Yes.
And everyone I
Yeah.
talk to, I'm like, you need to know.
You need to know.
Get
I
yours
know.
too.
I know. Same. I try to spread the gospel of Exodus almost wherever I go, and in my sister friend groups, all over. So yeah, I do encourage you to go out and find your diamond. Um, and yeah, thank you for joining. I'm so glad. We're gonna do this again. We're gonna do this again. This was so much fun. You're on mute.
I'm sorry, I was on mute. Everybody's on mute.
Right.
Yeah, so I didn't hear you the last thing you said. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. I was just saying that we're gonna do this again, where we come together and just kind of chat it out, and
Mhm.
maybe try to drag Candace or Casey on with us, and
Mhm.
maybe even try to get Roshida or Stephanie to come join us.
Mhm. Mhm.
But yeah, it's an amazing experience, and it's one that I really do want to spread the gospel of
Absolutely.
Exodus all over the place. I
Yes.
really
Yes.
do. I really do. Because
Now
it's
we know there's
amazing.
many other sisterhood groups
Yeah.
of Black women that are doing things together.
Yeah.
And every one of them have something to offer. So it's not to say we're better than them, but we are great.
Right.
Uh, but it's really important to share. And I think that's one of the things that Sisterhood is about.
Yeah.
We will, that's just the nature of Black women to
Yeah.
share and just give and
Yeah.
just want people to also feel what we're feeling. So I think that's another thing that I sense with all of our Exodus sisters is that we want you to know what's going on. We want you to feel what we feel.
Yeah.
So come along.
Yeah.
And I just want to say something. I was trying to go back. You had said something earlier, but a lot of people ask questions and they're kind of like hesitant. They don't know what's going on, which is why I said go to the, we're going to drop the links. You can check out the City Summit, some of the videos with the YouTube page,
Yeah.
the Instagram page, Facebook page,
Yeah.
so that you can see what we're talking about. Sometimes it's kind of odd for those people who are not sure. We got to be careful out here.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when you see it,
Yeah.
it's automatic.
Yeah.
You will know
Yeah.
what it is.
It is.
So,
It's amazing. It's
mhm.
amazing. And like you said, I will definitely put the links in the description box, and so you can see for yourself. You can get a
Yeah.
taste for yourself. And I hope that you will join us at Exodus Summit, and hopefully maybe even the meetup.
Yeah, find your
It's something.
tribe,
Find your tribe.
find
Find
your
your
Stephanie
tribe.
and Roshida.
Yep, yep, yep. It is amazing.
It is. But most importantly, find you, because I
Yeah.
think that's something that's also birthed out of Exodus Summit
Yeah.
is that if you think about it, it always goes back to what do you have within you that you want to really fulfill?
Mhm.
And is it just what you're doing every day now? Do you want to continue the rat race, the stress and the struggles? Or do you want to live life with ease or find something that's going to give you what your soul needs? And I think that's what it goes down to. What can you do to make life better for you?
Yeah.
It's really about us. And so now it's a platform for you to find yourself, find others that can help you get there. Some of us are introverts, so it may be a little difficult, but find someone that can kind of help pull those things out of you because we deserve more.
Mhm.
And I know we've been hearing a lot about it. It's just Black women, we deserve more. We carry so much and we don't get enough. And so now it's our season. It's been our season.
Yeah.
And when you realize it and you know it, you're just
Yeah.
trying to get it,
Right.
which is where I know I'm at. I'm just trying to find what I want
Yeah.
and how can I get there. And it's
Absolutely.
really about happiness at the end of the day.
Yeah. It is. It is.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to sign off now. Again, thank you so much for watching, and look out for some more of these.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
Thank you
And
so
maybe
much.
next time we'll tell each other who we are. Like, what do we do outside of this? Or maybe not.
Yes. Yes. We'll do that. We'll
We'll
do.
figure that out.
Yeah. We'll do that. Yeah. Oh my
Thanks so
goodness.
much for having
Yeah.
me.
Thank you. Thank you.
And we'll be in touch for next week's meetup.
Yeah. I know. I'll see you there.
Our weekly, yeah.
Yeah. I'll see you there. Yeah.